I did, right? I didn't see her for several days and she got sick, but she talked to me on the phone every single day, so I think that's how I got sick. So I apologize if you hearing my voice today gets you sick as well.
Blame it on her, huh?
Oh, dressed like a dad jokes. Well, good morning, afternoon, everybody. Turn to your neighbor and say, how are you?
How are you?
Good, I'll give you some time to answer. So how are they? You good? What's up, Mika? What's up, Jacob? Well, Mika, Celestine, and At the Faith are all matching. Y'all are crazy. Whoa. Yeah. Like the prison girls. I'm just kidding. And Josh, you're looking fresh, man. Man, everybody noticed when you walked in. I was singing, Celestine stopped me. She said, oh, look at Josh. Man, I gotta tell you guys, I was blessed with our worship this morning. Oh, man. Look at Robin. Thanks, bro. Thanks, man. I was blessed with the worship today. The Vivian At the Faith, you guys have really beautiful voices. I'm blessed to have you guys leading worship. Jem, great job, man, hopping on the strings, bro. And then Robin, man, yet again, you killed it, bro. Every single week. Every time I compliment him on his drums, his answer is always, oh, bro, glory to God. I'm like, oh, what a humble guy. Thanks, bro. Today, my message is titled, Well Done, Good and Faithful Servant. Some of you guys might be familiar with those words. Those are the words that a master in a parable that Jesus Christ shares. A master says to his servants for doing a good job with the task that he gave them. But first, I want to start off telling you guys a couple of anecdotes. What do you guys see on the board? Goats. Those are some golden retrievers. When I was in high school, the registrar of my school, and I'm a little goody two-shoes, teacher's pet, my senior year. I got to know the registrar really well because I worked in NHS and all that. And so she has 3 dogs. 2 golden retrievers and 1 really annoying small one. I don't even care what it is, but that one tried to bite me every time. She has 3 dogs, and she and her husband are older, and their kids are all grown and married and out of the house. So they have a really big, nice house, and they've got 2 really big, nice dogs and 1 ugly, scary one. And they decide one time, let's go on a vacation. We haven't gone out of the country in years. So Mrs. Byers and her husband, Mr. Byers, they pack up their bags and they fly out of town. And they ask me, hey, Draven, we're going to be out for 2 days. Can you come by and watch our dogs? I said, okay, cool, no problem. So she gives me the key to her house. She tells me where all the food is at, so I just feed the dogs and walk them for... I didn't even walk them. They have like a farm. So all I do is open the back door. They run around for like 30 minutes. They're like 29:59 sharp. They run back in and they're ready for dinner. So there's some good trained dogs, but not the little one. The little one. Ugh. Anyways, I took care of her dogs for 2 days. She came back, was so impressed by how I took care of the dogs that she gave me a $100 bill. Pretty sweet. So I got $100. I spent it that same day on some video games. I think that was the year we got 2K15. Oh man. And then so she was so impressed by how good of a job I did taking care of her house and dogs, and when she went on vacation months later, she asked me to come and take care of her dogs again, this time for 5 days. And so I'm sitting like, okay, $100 for 1 day, for 2 days, and then 5 days, that should be $200,000. And so I said, all right, let me take care of the dogs. I take care of the dogs, and this time I'm like, all right, I'm going to go the extra mile. Oh, I see her floors are a little dirty. Let me mop those up for her. Let me sweep the living room. Next thing you know, I'm cleaning the whole house. Clean up the house, 5 days passed, took great care of her dogs. She comes back home. She's so impressed. She didn't give me, like $1,000, but she gave me $400. That's $125 a day, and I was there for like an hour a day. So what? That's crazy, man. So I did a good job, and she awarded me. Those are not my hands. They might be Brother Lloyd's. But when I first started worship, the way I led worship for the first time, and the youth know this story because I tell this story every single week. The first time I ever led worship, I was actually at the practice because my best friend Jonathan, man, he's a singer and he plays the keys. And so he's doing worship. You know, we're like the same age. And so I slept at his house the night before. We went to church early for practice. And I'm sitting in the pews, in the chairs, watching him do practice. Next thing you know, K&M's like, hey, Draven, I have an extra guitar. Why don't you grab it and just play with us so you're not bored? I was like, cool, let's do it. So I come up and I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, what do you want me to play? And, you know, he told me what to do and he gave me the instructions. And I did a good job. And at the end of the thing, he said, all right, Draven, dress up in red tomorrow. You're going to be joining worship. And I was like, what? So I did a good job with a tiny little task, and he allowed me more responsibility. And you guys can kind of tell where I'm going with this. Today our message is about faithful stewardship. So what is stewardship? Merriam-Webster defines it as the conducting, supervising, or managing of something, especially the careful and responsible management of something entrusted to one's care. See, the key factor when it comes to stewardship is the fact that that thing which you are managing is not yours. The guitar was not mine. Luke and them let me take it, he let me borrow it for a week, and he let me use it. And in the same way, I did the same thing for Hannah. Many years ago, one day she said, oh, okay, Draven, I want to learn guitar. So I was like, okay, here, take it, try it out. She liked it, she was good, she took care of it. I said, keep it. Same with Jessica. She picks up the ukulele, hey, Draven, I want to play ukulele. Here, try it out. She liked it, took care of it, I let her keep it. Same deal. That's how I got into worship, and now look at them. You're not playing ukulele up here, but still, good job, Jessica. And so when it comes to stewardship, the whole idea is managing and taking care of something that someone else puts into your care, right? If if I handed you my phone and I said, hey, can you hold this real fast while I don't know why I would ever give you my phone, but can you hold this real fast while I go swimming? And if I come back and my phone is broken, I'm gonna be upset. But if I come back and if my phone is working faster and it's clean, it's even better, man, that's something else. One time, I let my classmate borrow my car. That was a mistake. But he borrowed my car and he got me a car wash. So, that's good. Anyways, stewardship. Excuse me. We are called as Christians to be stewards of this world. When God created the world, He made everything in it. He's the God who spoke the world into existence. He made a little dude and took a little piece of that dude and made a little woman and said, work the land, have tons of babies, don't eat from that tree. And they did two of those three things. Well, they messed up with the third. But the whole point is God created man and woman to work the world that He created for them so that the world would in turn provide a living for them and bless them. And you know, this whole concept of stewardship is dependent on the fact that we have an understanding that the world does not belong to us. Everything that you have belongs to God. One awesome thing that, you know, those of you who know Celestine's story about when she went through her heart surgeries as a child, her parents were at one point sitting in the waiting room wondering if her daughter would even be alive in the next few hours, and they're sitting together, and then the Gemma said that she was praying, and she said, Lord, no matter what happens, I trust in you. It's your desire and your will to determine what will happen with this woman, with this little girl's life, because she's not mine. You let me have her, and if you want to take her back, so be it. I will still love you, I will still serve you, but she belongs to you. And lo and behold, we see Celestine here today, so happy ending. And she's great. Good job. Good job with your heart. Excuse me. In Psalm 14, the psalmist writes, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. So this world is not our own, and we are tasked with being good stewards of what the Lord has given us. And so in light of stewardship, that's all just an introduction. I'd like for us to turn to Matthew 25. We're going to read verses 14 through 20. I have a couple of key passages today. But may we all stand together and honor the reading of the word this morning. Again, we're reading in Matthew chapter 25, and we're going to start with verse 14 to 20. This is the parable of the talents. Jesus is teaching this parable to his audience. He says, He says, again, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his property to them. To one, he gave talents of money, 5 talents of money. To another, 2 talents. And to another one, 1 talent, each according to his ability. Then the master went on his journey. The man who had received the 5 talents went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 more. So also the one with 2 talents gained 2 more. The man who had received 1 talent went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 talents brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 talents. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. The man with 2 talents also came. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 talents. See, I have gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share in your master's happiness. Then the man who had received the 1 talent came. Master, he said, I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your talent in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you. His master replied, you wicked and lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed? Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers so that when I returned, I would have received it back with interest. Take the talent from him and give it to the one who has the 10 talents. For everyone who has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken from him. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. May God bless us through the reading of his holy word. You may be seated. So you see in the story, in the parable of the 10 talents, Matthew 25, 14 through 20, Jesus paints this picture. Let me summarize it for you again. There's a master and he's got 3 servants, and the master is going away. To the first guy, he gave him 5 talents. What are talents? It's a currency. It's a measure of money. He gave him 5 talents. Think of it like $5. To another guy, he gave 2 talents. And to another guy, he gave 1. The first 2 guys did good. They took the money, went to the bank, invested the money, it collected interest, and when the master came back, they each had doubled their money. And of course, the master said, well done, good and faithful servant. The last guy was afraid of his master and afraid of messing up potentially and afraid of doing his job. So instead of doing anything with the money, he dug a little hole in the backyard, hid the money so no one could find it. And when his master came back, the money was exactly where it was. To understand this parable a little bit better, it's good to understand a little bit about the culture of the people in this time, both Jews and Gentiles. A common practice for the wealthy masters was, as they left their homes for whatever ventures they pursued, they would leave their servants in charge. That means the servants would keep the house clean, they would continue to run businesses, they would take care of the families and kids if the mom wasn't there, and they would even manage the finances. They would even be responsible for taking the money entrusted to them and somehow multiplying it. Think of it like investment banking, but your servants do it for you. And so the responsibility of these servants was to take that money, be responsible, and use it to some fruitful extent. But the problem is, with the first servant, is he did not do that. See, the master came back, and it's not so much that he was concerned with how much more money he received, but I imagine perhaps he was excited that the first 2 servants did anything with what they were given at all. You see, if he gave you something, the master gave you the talent, he's happy